welcome back to the Crochet Crowd. I'm your host Mikey. Today I have the project of 2012. It is amazing, it is fun, it is fabulous, and this is the 13.5-inch tall crochet Christmas tree. No matter which way I turn it, it is still fabulous. Now this Christmas tree is made up of 3 different components. We have the foundation, then we created the leaves, and then we decorate. And I want to show you a little bit about each before we get into the step-by-step demonstration for you to be able to follow along. The foundation of this Christmas tree is simply just a styrofoam cone, just like so. Picked it up at Walmart in the floral section. Stands 12 inches tall and it's a 4-inch diameter. And all this does is that this Christmas tree basically has nothing inside, and it just goes in up over top, just like so. And so it just allows you, just in case somebody's going to knock it, it's just something to prevent it from falling over. You can also stuff the inside of this as well if you prefer and cannot find this in the stores. You're going to need only 2 balls of yarn to make this, and I chose the Bernat Holiday yarn. These are 100 gram or 3.5 ounce balls. You're going to need at least 2 to complete this project. Red Heart also has holiday yarn, just in case you cannot find the Bernat Holiday yarn in a store near you as well. When designing this Christmas tree, I wanted my crocodile stitches to appear random on here, and they are in fact random. The way that I designed it is that there's a foundation row, and basically we start off at the top and we do a continuous spiral, and we just graduate and get it bigger and bigger and bigger, and so that it goes all the way down the cone. Now you can make this as tall as you want to. So this is basically the top, so I could make this to be a huge topiary if I wanted to. You know, just have to have it supported and you are good to go. Once we get all the way down to the bottom, we stop and then we just trim off our yarn, and then we start making the leaves. And because we've done a spiraling effect all the way down, we are going to spiral all the way back up. But as we spiral, we're going to be creating the leaves as we go. And the way that I show you in the instructions is absolutely amazing, because it will appear like it's very random, which it is. But as you get taller, basically you get fewer and fewer stitches. So basically from the bottom going up, it gets faster and faster and faster. And finally, the last component is decorations, and I used felted balls in different sizes, in different colors, all the way around my tree. The silver that you see there, they're simply just jewelry components that I found, and they are amazing. They look like little decorated glass balls as well. Really quite amazing. I did try tinsel on this thing. I didn't like it. It just seems like it buries the crochet stitches. I figured if I made all that work to do the crochet branches all the way up, why cover it up with tinsel? So I wanted to keep it very simple and very amazing. So now let's get on to learning how to do this. So let's get your crochet hook out and some yarn, and we're going to have a lot of fun going forward. Any resources that you're seeing on screen are available on my website. This is a diagram. I've been teaching how to read crochet patterns and diagrams lately, so I figured I better show you a diagram as well for those that want to continue the process of learning. You will notice right in the center we're going to start off. This is the very top of the Christmas tree, and we're going to make our stitches going around the center ring just like so. But these red lines are indicating to you that we're not slip stitching anymore. What we're going to do is that we're going to continue to make a continuous spiral every time. And what I really want you to pay attention to is these V stitches. Okay, there's 2 of them. There's one on this side and one on this side, and this makes that perfect shaped cone. But you will notice that when you get up to the next one, this V stitch is always on the second one over. Okay, you go higher, it's always on the second, and it's just like down here, it's always on the second. So every time we pass a V-stitch on the second, we're going to put another V-stitch on, and this allows it to grow very uniformly, just like you see in the photographs. To start this tutorial, we're going to create a slip knot, and I'm using a size 6.0 millimeter crochet hook today. This is Tulip. Love these crochet hooks. We're just doing a slip knot as normal, and then I want you to chain 4. Remember that the first one never counts as one. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I want you to create a ring, and we do that by going into the very first stitch, just like so, grabbing the yarn through and through, and therefore we have our first ring. So chances are if you're trying this project, you will have understand crochet a little bit. Now if you look at the diagram or written directions, I'm asking you to chain up 2, 1 and 2. And now what I want you to do is put 16 double crochets all the way around the center of this ring. Remember to double crochet is just wrap, going into the ring, pull through, you have 3 on your hook, through 2 and 2, and keep doing that all the way around. So you don't need to see me do 16 of these, just continue to do that, and we'll meet back up and you will have 16 done by the time we meet back up. So I now have 16 all the way around. In normal crochet, I would ask you to slip stitch it to the top of the 2 chain, but I don't want you to do that. What I want you to do at this point is that I want you to double crochet and just immediately go into the first double crochet. So this is the chaining of 2 here. This is the 1 double crochet, and I want you to put 2 double crochets into that spot. Okay, so you're causing it now to start spiraling, okay, because normally we would just keep it organized. So what I want you to do now is that I want you to go 8 stitches in double crochet. So let's count those out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And on the 8th one, this is where I want you to put another double crochet into that same stitch. Okay, so it's directly across from each other. So now let's continue to go around, and we're just going to finish up this thing. So you don't need any slip markers, because I'm going to show you a tip in just a second as we get all the way around. You're going to notice this is going to start to buckle or close in like a bowl, and that's happening because the fact is that we're really not growing this out on an even level, so it should not stay flat. So I'm going to continue to go all the way, and you can basically tell on the first one when you've gone all the way around. And essentially the next stitch is right here, and this is your V stitch. Okay, and if you look at the directions, you will notice that there's 1 double crochet over the first V stitch, and the second one, as I kind of mentioned already, is that there's going to be 2 double crochets into that same spot. Okay, and now we just continue to double crochet as normal, and basically we're going to look for the next V stitch on the other side as it comes around. You can literally see it as it's coming around. And if you're not sure, just kind of pull it open. See? It's right there. So this is a nice little exercise to be able to identify your stitches. And so basically this is the V stitch, this is the first one, and now the second one is next, and that means that we put in 2 double crochets into that same one. So all you have to do now is just to continue to circle around and around, and every time you hit a V stitch, the second one always gets an extra double crochet in, and that just allows it to grow up to a nice beautiful topiary cone kind of idea. So basically, how high should you make it? Well, you're the artist, you can decide that for yourself. And what I did is that I got a cone already where I had the size in mind, and I just basically went around and around and around until I got the height that I wanted. And it's just actually a very simple process because of it. When you get to the height that you want, what I did is that I stopped on the second V stitch as a regular, just a normal, just like so, and then basically I just trimmed my yarn, and then I just fastened in and weaved in the remainder. Now this is the important part. This is where I finished off, so I was right here, and now in order for me to do this actual stitching over here, I need to turn this inside out from what we were doing. Okay, so I want you to hold your project, and you may have to turn it inside out, but what I want you to do is that it should be upside down, so the point of the tree is on top, and then this extra stitch as you follow it around is basically, if I would have continued, it would have got bigger and bigger and bigger. But I want to look at it from this point of view, because we're going to start crocheting in this direction here. If you're left-handed, you'll be going in the other direction because your spiral will be in a different direction. So let's grab your yarn, and we want to fasten it to the first post. So I'm going to fasten on my yarn. I'm just going to cross a slip knot, and I want to just put it on my hook, and I want to go inside the post just like there, and I want to stay toward the top side of it. It's going to fall down, but you can shift it up, and just fasten on your yarn like you normally do, and then I want you to immediately chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so I want you to come down that post here. Come down. So we're going to do 4 double crochets in order to go down. Okay, the chaining of 3 counted as 1. Now do you see how I'm kind of holding it in my hand right now? It's kind of, I'm looking at the back side as I'm doing this. Okay, so I got my 5 going down, which includes that first chaining, and now I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to immediately flip it back up toward me to the view that I want to see, and I want to immediately go into the very next post, and I want to put in a double crochet 5 times into that side post going up. Okay, so basically this is the very first branch of your Christmas tree, just down like that. Okay, so we're looking back, and I've just kind of folded it so I can see behind the branch, and I got 1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna go into the 4th, and I want to put 4 double crochet or 5 double crochets going down the side of the post on the 4th one. Normally in crocodile stitch I would have chained in between each one of the crocodile stitch scales, but I don't want to in here. I want to kind of keep it condensed, and I want to keep it so that the tree is looking really random instead of very uniform. So I've got 5 going down. I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to come just fold it so that I can see it in the regular side. So this is the actual side that you can see, that people will be able to see, and you're immediately just going to come to the next post and do 5 double crochets going up. Now because you've worked in a continuous spiral, you just follow this row all the way back to the very top of your project. And you always, in between, you're going to skip 3 posts, okay, and then go to the 4th. And so I'm continuing to rotate around. I started, and as I've rotated around, you can see as I'm following the rows, I'm now starting to be a little bit higher because the spiraling is working its way up. So even though I have the stitch or branch here, I'm not even paying attention to where those are, because this is going to be very random. So I'm immediately going to just double crochet just by jumping over the posts, just like so. So I'm just concentrating on the row that I am. I'm not paying attention to what's underneath, meaning rows underneath, because this is just going to come together like a dream. So I'm working my way all the way back to the top. As you can see here, I got this cute little Christmas shrub. If you were to do something like that. These stitches are getting harder and harder to see up at the top, but we still continue. We just pull it, and we just look for it, and we just see, okay, where are the stitches going? And you want to go completely all the way around until you cannot see that there's any more stitches. So I'm going to continue to do that, and I'll meet you back up in just a second because I want to show you a little tip on making the top really random looking. So I'm on my very last one here, and I'm halfway through it, and in actual fact I have run out of stitches. Okay, so but what I want to do is that I want to just force it in to something else to finish off the scale. The one thing I don't want is that I don't really want a flat spot at the top of this tree. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to finish it off with 5 double crochet, just like so. Okay, and so what I want to do then is just I want to trim my yarn like that and pull it out like this, fasten it off like that, and I want to take my my hook from the inside like that and grab the straggler. I would secure it a little more securely in place, but by what I did at the top here is that I want to fasten it off, and I would have done a lot better job, but I would have fastened this off to be nicely so that this final scale basically is just kind of sticking up at random just like this, and so basically you have a cute little Christmas shrub, and then I can decorate as normal. And as you can see, if you look at the top of this Christmas tree versus this one, it's identical to the same thing.